It's about that time. Week 1 NFL Power Rankings 2022 edition. Let's go. Let's not have any discussions. No foreplay. Let's get right into them. Number 32, Jacksonville Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence. Yup, that guy. And if you know me and you watched my videos last year, you know how I feel about this guy. All the hype, undeserved attention to a quarterback that performs less than average. I'm so sick of it. Trevor Lawrence threw 6 deep passes in the game against Washington, and he completed 1 of them. So sick of this dude. Now, the Jaguars did climb back into the game. I think they even took a late lead. But that had nothing to do with Jacksonville playing well. That had to do with Washington sucking ass. I'd be more specific about that, but I got to get into Washington a little later on. Number 31, the New England Patriots. The Patriots lost to the Dolphins in Miami. The Patriots offense is terrible. Mac Jones is terrible. This team is terrible. I don't even want to say anything else. Number 30, New Jersey Jets. Did you hear the Jet fans booing Joe Flacco? My dude threw the ball 59 fucking times. Yikes. Look, the Jets look terrible as expected, but I really don't believe that it would have been much better if little man Zach Wilson was playing. The Jets definitely did well in the 2022 NFL draft, 100%. On paper, they won the draft. But aside from Michael Carter this past weekend, there really wasn't much to be excited about. I would like to see Mike White play though, and it seems like all the Jet fans agree. Number 29, Chicago Bears. Yeah, man, I know. They won. I get it. I had the Bears winning 2 games all season long. 2. And I'll tell you right now, this one on Sunday against the Niners was not one of them. Apparently, it's monsoon season in Chicago, and they played a very, very sloppy game at Soldier Field because of that. Justin Fields looked like Justin Fields in the first half. His passer rating was 2.8. 2.8. But it was the second half that the Bears came out and were the far better team. The most important facet of the game that they dominated in was penalties. They had 0 penalties in the second half. The Bears played well in the second half. They pulled out a massive upset against the 49ers. But I'm here to tell you, this team still sucks. Number 28, Atlanta Falcons. For the first 3 quarters of the game against the Saints, the Falcons' defense was just living in Jameis Winston's face. Marcus Mariota looked like the player that was drafted number 2 overall. The Falcons were up 13 points with the ball to start the fourth quarter. I don't know what the hell. Number 27, Carolina Panthers. It's funny how this worked out. Baker Mayfield playing his old team, Cleveland Browns. It's also funny how it worked out that he looked like Baker Mayfield in the first half. He came out looking like ass. It almost looked like he was trying too hard to prove the Browns wrong. And then suddenly he finally calmed the fuck down. Woosah. Then he started moving the ball. He even had a badass little touchdown jaunt into the end zone. The Panthers looked all right. They looked like a number 27 team in these power rankings, but ultimately lost to Jacoby Brissett. Number 26, Detroit Lions. DeAndre Swift had himself a fucking game. The Lions need to scrap the idea of trying to spread the wealth in the backfield. Swift is the fucking man. Stop playing around. The Eagles are known for their tough run defense, and he carved them bitches up. Look, you got to give credit to the Lions for battling back. They made this a close game. They lost by 3, 38-35 to the Eagles. Come on. But it just seems like the same old story as last year. Staying close in the game. Almost winning. When are they going to get over that hump and actually win these games? You know what I mean? This hurts me because I really like the Lions. Number 25, Washington Commandos. This was literally the only game that I did not have on my TV at all. These were 2 teams that I have 0 interest in. And as you should know by now, I despise Carson Wentz. Never thought he was as good as people thought he was. Especially Eagles fans. Jesus, you guys. But watching highlights of that game, preparing for this video, I realized that Wentz's performance in this game was like a microcosm of him. He came out quick, he came out strong, scoring 2 tutties in his first 2 possessions. Then he went into hiding and was non-existent. He threw 2 interceptions and allowed the Jaguars to take a fucking lead. Then he ended the game with 2 more tutties, giving Washington the win and leaving all of his fans saying Carson Wentz is back. Stop. Stop it now. Washington fans, get ready because this is what life is going to be like with him under center. Number 24, Dallas Cowboys. Oh, boy. Look, when Amari Cooper left the Cowboys, all I heard from Cowboys fans was that CeeDee Lamb was about to take over. He's wide receiver 1. I had doubts. I really did. And Sunday night, my doubts were justified. He had 2 catches. So Dak goes down, gets hurt. First, he's going to miss 2 weeks. Then it's 6 to 8. And just this morning, I heard on the radio, Jerry Jones is saying they're not even putting him on the IR. He'll be back shortly. If this was happening with any other franchise, I'd be surprised, curious, perplexed. But it's the Cowboys, so I'm not surprised. My favorite thing is Monday morning listening to Dallas Sports Radio, all the Cowboy fans wanted Dak gone. Just last week, he was an elite quarterback, top 5. No questions asked. Psychos. Number 23. Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals are the most overrated team in the NFL. I really am just so sick of hearing about how good they are. Kyler Murray is the most overrated quarterback in the NFL. I really am so sick of hearing about how good he is. Now, I'm fully aware that they played a really good Chiefs team. I get that. But to not even show up week 1 at home? They need to go scratch. I've been saying it since last year. I really like Kyler Murray. I do. But we need to stop putting him in the conversation with the elite quarterbacks of the league. Please. Number 22, Seattle Seahawks. Was it just me? Or did Seattle look really fucking good last night? Geno Smith came out on fire. Seattle's offense seemed to move the ball with fucking ease against what was supposed to be the mighty Broncos defense. Clearly this game was emotional, and that probably had a lot to do with the outcome of this game. But it was an impressive win nonetheless, and an amazing way for the Seahawks to start off a season. I'm not buying into the Seahawks stock just yet, but they look better than anyone probably would have guessed. Number 21, Houston Texans. Good news. Texans came out and took a 20-3 lead against the Colts. Bad news, they lost that lead. Good news, as I've been saying for months, Davis Mills looks like a real quarterback. Bad news, new head coach Lovie Smith doesn't appear to have the balls to want to win games. The expectations for the Texans this year are pretty fucking low. So why not play for the win? Why play it safe and go for the tie? It's just weird. Number 20, New Jersey Giants. Brian Daboll's big fat hairy sack going for the win with a 2-point conversion after scoring a touchdown late in the game instead of kicking an extra point to tie it was exactly what this team fucking needed. What do they have to lose? Honestly, the salaries that exist on this roster suggest that it's next year that the Giants are going to be able to make moves. So the season's almost acting as like a bridge of some sort. So why not take those risks? You know what taking risks like that yields? Excitement, confidence, and fucking wins, baby. Good on you, Giants. Good on you, Brian Daboll. Excellent win to start the season, and it looks like Mr. Barkley is back, bro. Love it. Number 19, Tennessee Titans. Oh, the Titans. One of my very most hated teams. This game was glorious to me. The way they gave up that touchdown, the way they gave up the 2-point conversion, the way they missed the kick. Beautiful, baby. Fuck the Titans. The Titans had 6 drives in the second half. One of them yielded 95 yards. The other 5 yielded 80 yards total, combined. It's extremely obvious that the loss of A.J. Brown hurt them right in the poopa. Bobby Trees, his replacement, had 1 catch. And now they get to hop on a plane, head up to Orchard Park to catch this beatdown. To play the Buffalo Bills. Enjoy. Number 18, Indianapolis Colts. All right, one of my boys is a big Colts fan. And after the game, we were talking, and his exact words were, the Colts should just start every season in week 2, already 0-1. They seem to lose, or in this case, tie, every week 1 every year to a team that they shouldn't be losing to. But there are definitely some positives to take from this game, right? They came back. Matt Ryan and Michael Pittman have created an amazing chemistry. That was quick. And that should yield some really good performances and some really good games for them moving forward. A tie in week 1 was definitely not ideal, but they're going to rebound. I think we all know this. And at the end of the day, they're tied with the Texans for first place in the AFC South. Number 17, Denver Broncos. Now, this was a fun game to watch last night. All offseason, after Russell Wilson was named the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos, social media was just littered with posts talking about his receivers. Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick. Because Russell Wilson is now the quarterback in Denver, these 3 receivers should be compared to Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, and Marvin Harrison. I get it. Tim Patrick, a.k.a. Marvin Harrison, was hurt and didn't play last night. I get it. That's why you lost. The Broncos look like shit against a bad Seahawks team. Now, I understand a lot of emotion in this game. I get it. Anything can happen any given Sunday, blah, 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 blah. Or maybe, just maybe, the Broncos were just a little too overhyped. Or maybe their new head coach doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. Are you not going to call a timeout? If you watch the Manning cast, they were screaming at the TV to call a timeout. But I get it. He wanted to save the timeouts. When the Seahawks got the ball back and were in victory formation and Geno Smith was taking that knee, that's when you take the timeouts. This way, the network can continue to broadcast you on their television, and the commentators and the experts and everyone watching can continue to bash you, yelling at the TV saying you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Like, as a Broncos fan, I don't know how I would have been able to handle this. But hey, Russ is cooking. Broncos Nation, let's ride. Ride your ass to a fucking loss. This game made me so happy. Number 16, Green Bay Packers. RELAX. Relax. Maybe not this time, Mr. Rogers. Boy, the Vikings came out and punched the Packers right in the fucking mouth, didn't they? That message was received. We are here. But then again, this happens, right? Rodgers doesn't play in the preseason, comes into camp late, look like shit week 1, and then go on a run. Who knows? Might happen again. Number 15, Cleveland Browns. Different season, same Browns. Run the ball. And with Jacoby Brissett under center, this game plan was a no-brainer. Run the ball down their fucking throat. And until Watson returns, this should be the game plan moving forward every game. Not much to see here with the Browns. They beat a bad Panthers team. Okay. But it's worth noting this was the first time that the Browns won in week 1 since 2004. Since 2004. Number 14, San Francisco 49ers. Trey Lance show. It's here. And boy, did that suck. Sadly, no refunds. All right, truth be told, there are many reasons why you shouldn't overreact to this game. There was a fucking monsoon in Chicago. There was no George Kittle out there. Their starting running back, Elijah Mitchell, got hurt. Now, I'm sure there's plenty of 49er fans out there who are screaming for Jimmy G, Jimmy G, Jimmy G. And that's the downside of San Francisco deciding to bring him back. He's lurking in the shadows, and when Trey Lance has a bad game, this is what's going to happen. But I'm not ready to write them off. It was a loss. Every team loses a game. They're going to be just fine. Number 13, Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow. He went and took his team to the Super Bowl last year. I'm sure he had a great offseason celebrating. Joe Burrow has arrived. Joe Burrow is an elite quarterback. The NFL is not ready for Joe Burrow. The Steelers were. My dude had 4 interceptions, 5 total turnovers in the first half. That's not even the worst part of this game. The Bengals, after getting beat down by the Steelers, come all the way back and score a touchdown to tie the game, and an extra point pending will put them up by a point. Bengals losing overtime. Number 12, Las Vegas Raiders. Statistically, Derek Carr to Devontae Adams looks legit. 10 catches, 141 yards, and a touchdown. Those are good numbers. But 17 targets seems a bit excessive, especially if he's only going to catch 10 of them. The next most targeted player on the Raiders squad had 6. 6! All the Chargers had to do was focus on Adams. This game did one thing for me. It made me realize that the Raiders are a team I can check off the list of teams that I don't need to worry about this year. Number 11, Pittsburgh Steelers. Year in, year out, it's all about that Steelers defense. This year, they started their season on the road in Cincinnati to take on the reigning AFC champs. And all the Steelers did was come out in this game and punch those champs right in the fucking throat. Minkah Fitzpatrick is all world. All world. He had a pick 6 early on, and then he blocked the extra point that would have won the game for the Bengals. Like, wow! This was a true statement overtime win for the Steelers against the Bengals. But you really can't ignore the true concern. TJ Watt leaves the game with a torn pectoral muscle and is going to be out for weeks. That hurts, both literally and figuratively. Number 10, Miami Dolphins. So my NFL Sunday ticket was restructured, and apparently my new subscription doesn't include the red zone, which is what I watch when the Bills are not playing. So this week I was forced to manually flip through games. Third world problems, I know. So I started the day off by watching the Dolphins and Patriots because I needed to see about the most accurate quarterback that Tyreek Hill has ever played with. And you know what I saw? I saw Tua making horrendous passes. Awful. Now, I understand the Dolphins won this game, and that's ultimately all that matters. But Tua did not win this game. I think we can all agree on that. The Dolphins' defense won the game. And even more so than that, the Patriots lost that game. So I guess it's off to next week to see about this Tua Tyreek hype. And I still stand behind my belief that Tua is garbage. Number 9, New Orleans Saints. Do you know how bad Jameis Winston looked in the first half? I'll tell you. He looked so bad that when the stats went up at halftime and it showed that he had 24 yards passing, I was shocked. I didn't even realize he had that many. At halftime, I was actually embarrassed that I bought into the hype of the New Orleans Saints. Now, the second half was a completely different story. It was like a switch was flipped. Winston threw for like 245 yards in the second half. Michael Thomas had 2 tutties. And the Saints got them a very impressive, very crazy come-from-behind win. Number 8, Baltimore Ravens. Damn, Lamar Jackson looked good, didn't he? And shockingly, he looked good with his arm, not his legs. It was like Lamar Jackson was like, oh yeah, Aaron Judge, I see you. And he followed in his footsteps and said, fuck you, you don't want to pay me? I'm going to bet on myself. Watch what I do. Pay me my money. Now, all that being said, the Ravens played the Jets, so pump the brakes just a touch. But the Ravens did look good. Number 7, Philadelphia Eagles. Oh boy, A.J. Brown, huh? 10 catches for 155. It's an excellent start for a new team. His chemistry with Jalen Hurts looks fucking scary. And it's going to continue to blossom. Yeah. So as I was watching the games on my TV, I had my iPad right next to me, and this was the game that I watched. It seemed like every time I looked over, Jalen Hurts was running. He was running. I almost felt like it was too much. My only concern with the Eagles is their defense was so hyped up. There's so much talk about it. And they let the Lions back into the game and score 35 points. I'm not sure that's sitting well with the Eagles. Number 6, Los Angeles Rams. You know, watching that game on Thursday night, there was a lot of aspects of that game that I was really confused by. Where was Cam Akers? Why was Darnell Henderson the primary running back early on? Didn't the Rams bring in a guy by the name of Allen Robinson? Where was he? Is Jalen Ramsey still considered one of the best cornerbacks in the league? I'm just kidding. I know that not to be true. But honestly, the most concerning thing for Rams fans would be Matthew Stafford's elbow. He didn't look good. He threw a lot of terrible passes. Cooper Kupp played like Cooper Kupp, as expected. But it's also really hard to not put up those kind of numbers when you're targeted as much as he is. Look, there's a lot of people out there saying that the Rams played so terrible. They're discrediting the way the Bills played. And I get that. Because I kind of agree to an extent. I think the Rams played like shit. But I think we all know that the Rams are better than the way they looked on Thursday. They're going to be okay. Number 5, Los Angeles Chargers. Well, Justin Herbert hasn't skipped a beat, huh? Despite losing his number 1 receiver, Keenan Allen, to injury, Herbert and the Chargers offense looked really good against a much improved Raiders defense. And as an added bonus, the Chargers defense looked pretty good too. Khalil Mack had 3 sacks, making an immediate impact. Now let's see how they fare against the Chiefs this week. That's going to be a good fucking game. Number 4, Minnesota Vikings. Justin Jefferson is a fucking beast. What? You need me to say more? What else needs to be said? Listen, I took the Vikings to not only win the NFC North, but I've got them going to the NFC Championship game. And their performance in Week 1 kind of justifies my thoughts. Number 3, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. New head coach Todd Bowles has always been a defensive-minded coach. Now, I know that didn't work out in Jersey with the Jets, but it damn sure looked good on Week 1 with the Bucs. Guess that's what happens when you get talent. The Bucs opened up the year against the number 1 offense from last year, the Dallas Cowboys, and all they did was bitch slap them. Held the Cowboys to just 3 points, didn't let them in the end zone. They were out there looking like Will Smith slapping the shit out of Chris Rock. What did the 5 fingers say to the face? Number 2, Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, let's see how Mahomes does without Tyreek Hill. Come on, man. Do you really think that Patrick Mahomes was dependent on Tyreek Hill? Mahomes is a great fucking quarterback, and he's gonna be for a really long time. I mean, it certainly doesn't hurt that he has Travis Kelce to throw the ball to, but I think that Patty Boy is gonna be just fine without Tyreek. And Sunday kind of proved it. Now, I'm not one of those people that are going to go out and say that they're better without Tyreek. They played really well. They looked like the Chiefs, and they look like they are destined to be on a collision course in the AFC Championship game against number 1, Buffalo Bills. The Thursday night kickoff game. Now, when the Rams won the Super Bowl, I knew that the Bills were playing in Los Angeles next year. And I was like, what are the chances that the Bills will play in this game? It's been a dream of mine for the 20 years that they've been doing this, that one day it would happen. The schedules were released, and there it was. I've been so excited during this offseason leading up to this game. Like the day of, I was at work. I was so excited that I was vibrating. I couldn't stay still. I felt like I drank like 19 cups of coffee. I heard on the radio that day that Bills Mafia had set up like a tailgating party in the parking lot of SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, California. They shipped so much Labatt Blue beer that it was almost as much beer as SoFi Stadium had inside the stadium for people at the game. It's fucking nuts. Yeah. Then the game started. Statement fucking win. NFL is on notice. Josh Allen came out, completed his first 10 passes, looking like a fucking machine on a mission. Short passes, long passes, stiff arms, knocking people's souls out of their body. Maybe a little justification for all these calls for him to be the MVP in 2022. The scary thing is, as good as the Bills' offense looked, their defense was even better. 7 sacks, 3 interceptions. Von Miller got himself 2 sacks. At cornerback, they started 2 rookies, and they held their own. The Bills absolutely dominated this game against the Super Bowl champs, 31-10, all while committing 4 turnovers. Could you even imagine? All in all, excellent start to the season. Bills go into the opening game and punch the defending champions right in the dick, and away we go. See you next week, bitches!